Before you spend hundreds of dollars on a robotic pool cleaner, there's one buying mistake that leaves many pool owners disappointed. The surprising part, it usually isn't because they bought a cheap robot. It's because they bought the wrong robot for the type of pool they actually own. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to avoid that mistake. Number 5, WYBOT C1. If your pool mainly collects leaves, dust, insects, and everyday debris, paying more doesn't always mean you'll get a cleaner pool. Most family pools simply don't need the longer runtime, wider coverage, and advanced navigation that premium robots are built to provide. The goal isn't to buy the most expensive robot. It's to buy the one that matches the way your pool gets dirty. If you want to spend more time enjoying your pool instead of cleaning it every weekend, the WYBOT C1 is a smart place to start. It handles weekly leaves, fine dirt, insects, and everyday debris while reducing manual brushing. For many backyard pools, that's more than enough for reliable weekly maintenance. However, if your pool is larger, has a complex layout, or regularly collects heavy debris, the higher-ranked cleaners become worth the extra investment because they're built for those tougher conditions. That's exactly why the WYBOT C1 earns the number 5 spot. One limitation only becomes obvious after a few weeks of use. Is fixing that limitation really worth paying hundreds more? Let's find out in the next pick. So, is paying more actually worth it for some pool owners? Absolutely. But not because of stronger suction. The biggest difference is whether your robot finishes the job without leaving you checking the pool or reaching for a brush afterward. That's exactly where the WYBOT C2 earns the number 4 spot. If you've ever wondered whether one cleaning cycle is enough, this is where spending a little more starts making sense. Instead of paying for extra features, you're paying for a robot that's more likely to finish the cleaning on its own. That means less time checking missed areas and more time enjoying your pool. Here's what many buyers don't realize. A robot that cleans reliably week after week is often more valuable than one that's simply advertised with stronger suction. For medium to larger residential pools, that extra consistency becomes worth paying for. If your pool is small and uncomplicated, you may never need those added capabilities. That's why the WYBOT C2 ranks at number 4. It fixes one of the biggest frustrations many first-time robotic pool cleaner owners experience, while the next 3 models solve even bigger challenges. The next limitation usually doesn't become obvious until months after you buy your robot, and the next pick is designed to solve exactly that. Number 3 is where many pool owners stop asking, can it reach every area, and start asking, will it actually leave the pool looking clean after every cycle? That's the difference many buyers don't think about until they've lived with a robotic pool cleaner for a while. A robot can reach your floor, walls, and water line, but if you're still brushing away fine dirt or finding debris after the cleaning cycle ends, the experience quickly becomes frustrating. That's exactly why the WYBOT B1 earns the number 3 spot. This upgrade isn't about adding more features. It's about getting more dependable results every time you drop the robot into the pool. Instead of wondering what it missed, you're more likely to come back to a pool that's ready to enjoy without extra touch ups. That difference becomes most noticeable if you have a larger family pool, an irregular shape, or heavier weekly debris. But if your pool is smaller and only collects light dirt, this extra performance may not be worth the additional cost. Before spending more, ask yourself one simple question: am I paying for extra features, or am I paying to save myself time every single week? That's what makes the WYBOT B1 such a strong number 3 pick. It isn't the right choice for everyone, but for the right pool owner, it's an upgrade you'll continue appreciating every time the robot finishes another cleaning cycle. But the next 2 cleaners aren't just about cleaning performance. They change what it's actually like to own and rely on a robotic pool cleaner over the long term, and that's where the biggest buying decisions are made. Number 2 is where many buyers stop comparing robots, and start thinking about what it's actually like to live with one. That's the question many people don't ask until months after they've already spent the money. A robotic pool cleaner isn't judged after the first cleaning cycle. It's judged after weeks of using it and depending on it to keep your pool clean. That's exactly why the Year 2 product name earns the number 2 spot. The biggest difference isn't having more features. It's how naturally the robot fits into your weekly routine, asking for less attention while continuing to deliver the cleaning you expect. That difference rarely stands out on a product page. But over an entire pool season, it often becomes the biggest reason owners stay satisfied with their purchase. And this is where many buyers make the wrong decision. They compare specifications instead of asking one simple question: will this robot still feel like the right choice after months of regular use? If you only use your pool occasionally or don't mind spending extra time looking after your cleaner, paying more may not be worth it. But if your pool is part of your weekly routine and you want ownership to stay simple throughout the season, this upgrade becomes much easier to appreciate. You're not paying for more features. You're paying for a robot that fits naturally into the way you actually use your pool. That's what makes the Year 2 product name such a strong number 2 pick. And the number 1 cleaner earns its place for one final reason: the difference between buying a great robotic pool cleaner and buying the right one for years of dependable ownership. Everything we've talked about comes down to this one final decision. After comparing different budgets, different pool sizes, and different cleaning needs, one robot consistently stands out as the best overall choice. That's why the BUBLUE Bubot 800p Gen 2 takes the number 1 spot. It isn't the right choice because it's the most expensive. It's the right choice because it gives the widest range of pool owners the fewest compromises. If you have a medium to large in-ground pool, clean it regularly, and want one robot you can depend on throughout the season, this is the model I'd recommend first. At the same time, if your pool is smaller or your cleaning needs are simple, one of the lower-priced options we've already covered could be the smarter value. And that's the biggest lesson from this entire countdown. The biggest buying mistake isn't spending too little. It's buying a robot that doesn't match your pool, your routine, and your expectations. When those three things match, you're far more likely to be happy with your purchase long after the first cleaning cycle. That's exactly why the BUBLUE Bubot 800p Gen 2 finishes at number 1. If you're ready to compare today's prices or see which model fits your pool best, you'll find every product linked in the description below.